Um, I guess my testimony, my story of how I came to Christ isn't all too special, all too different from what a lot of people do. Um, Except for that, my dad's a pastor, so it's like I've had the gospel told to me ever since I was born, basically. So I grew up in a Christian home. My dad was a pastor at a small church in Kentucky, and my mom was a good Christian woman. I was the oldest son, so I was the preacher's kid, going to church every Sunday, pretty much any time the doors were open. So about the time I was 5 years old, I started becoming interested in what it really meant to be a Christian. And I came up and talked to my dad one Sunday after church, and I said, "Hey Dad, I want to be saved." And thinking back now, I realize how monumental that is. I was so young and I wanted to do something so great, but in reality, there's nothing I could have done. It's just accepting Christ. And he probably did the best thing a father could have done and said, "Let's talk about this when you really understand what this means." Not putting it off because he didn't think I could have understood it, but because he understood that it was such an important decision and a process that I really needed to know that this was the life I knew was right. So it was a few years later, over the summer, I just, after learning more about God and Christ and how he lived and died for me, I realized that I wanted to be like him. I wanted to share love with others. I wanted to be pure and holy in God's eyes. I came to my dad and I was like, "Hey Dad, this is what I want and I'm ready to start a life like this." So we sat down and prayed together, and that was the point where I honestly believe I became a Christian. And it wasn't before just knowing God is God mentally, but starting at that point where I lived that in my own life. And it's been about 12 years now. And of course, as you get older, you get into different things. Your heart starts to wander a little bit, but as a Christian, you know where your true loyalty lies and where your foundation is, and you always have to get back to that, whatever that means for you. And so many people lose sight of that, and I try so hard to keep my eyes focused on Christ and just to truly live for Him. And it's a hard thing, and it's a daily battle, but I think if we can let Christ keep us on this path, it'll be truly rewarding in the end.